Welcome to Yerba Mate Talks.
Welcome. We have a debate for you today. We have Isa will be moderating, and we have Logan, the young card block, here with us. Thank you for coming. All right. Without much further ado, who would you like to go first?
Me?
No, Logan.
Oh, Logan.
Well, let's see. What is the topic? Trans women, men. Okay.
Are trans women? Are trans men?
All right. Well, I guess I'll go first.
Great.
All right.
I'm still a bit confused about what some of Max's positions are, but I guess we will find out. But I hope I'm not attacking any straw men.
Go for it.
All right. First, I want to thank Max for having the courage to engage in this debate. Many people choose to avoid this topic entirely, so I appreciate his willingness to have a direct discussion. I want to address three aspects of trans ideology. What is a woman? Language policing, respecting the no of women. The topic before us is simple. Trans women are men. Going forward, however, unless I want to make a point or use sarcasm, I will be using TIMS, trans-identified males. This language is far more accurate than saying trans women. I am arguing the affirmative in this debate. Well, I was in the original topic we agreed on. Trans women are men. To understand why, we must first look at language. In logic, terms must be univocal. They must mean one consistent thing. If the word woman means a specific biological sex 1 minute and an internal identity the next, it loses all logical utility. Therefore, you cannot use woman or man in more than one context. While some argue that trans is merely an adjective, it functions here as a privative adjective. A privative adjective indicates that the noun being modified does not possess its usual essential properties, similar to how artificial flower is not actually a botanical flower. Therefore, a trans woman is a male who alters his appearance or social role. He remains biologically male. Our experiences as embodied human beings are fundamentally limited and shaped by our biological sex. To argue this topic, one must first define what a woman is. In philosophy, real definitions based on intrinsic descriptive definitions, which rely on subjective context. The current gender paradigm attempts to subvert real definitions with descriptive ones, prioritizing feelings that can change over objective realities that do not. When proponents of gender identity claim that a woman is anyone who identifies as a woman, they fall into a circular fallacy. This definition offers no objective method for verification. It relies entirely on a subjective claim. By contrast, the biological definition of sex is universal, observable, and immutable. Female, a member of a species whose biological role is organized around the production of large gametes, ova. From the point of gonadal differentiation, a female embryo proceeds along an ovarian pathway. While disorders of sexual development, DSDs, exist, they are sex-specific conditions and do not create a third sex. A woman is an adult human female. These definitions are not arbitrary social constructs. They are observable biological facts common to all mammals. We have terms for sex in animals. Boar, sow; cow, bull; stallion, mare. Why are such words fine when referring to the sex of other animals, but not when it comes to us? Conversely, the term trans lacks stable foundation. It is used interchangeably to mean someone with a medical diagnosis of gender dysphoria or someone who simply rejects traditional sex roles. Because the definition shifts constantly, it cannot be objectively measured. Finally, Max has already agreed that society must respect a woman's right to say no. Yet numerous prominent women, such as Helen Joyce, Amy E. Sousa, Ella Beversley, Connie Shaw and the famous artist Bertie Rose have publicly said no to the inclusion of biological males in female-only spaces, yet they are dismissed by trans allies. Many more women remain silent out of fear of losing their livelihoods and social standing. If we truly respected a woman's boundaries, we must also respect their right to define and preserve their own spaces based on objective sex. Max may argue that trans-identified males pose no risk to biological women, but the data tells a different story. Statistically, males who identify as women retain the baseline tendencies for violence associated with the male sex. And I have a graph to prove that if anybody wants to question me on it. According to data compiled on male patterns of criminality, the violent offense rate for this demographic is statistically aligned with NATO males rather than females. For instance, a study published by Correctional Services Canada profiling incarcerated gender-diverse offenders revealed that a striking 86% were convicted of violent offenses. Furthermore, 61% had unaliving in a criminal way or SA-related index offenses, with 1/3 possessing a documented history of SA offending. This baseline male pattern is further supported by a 2025 study from the University of Oxford on homicides in Britain. The data demonstrated that the victim-perpetrator ratio among trans-identified males closely resembles that of the male population at large, completely differing from female patterns. Similarly, a UK Parliament review confirmed that male-to-female trans individuals retain a distinctly male pattern regarding criminality. Women demand sex-segregated spaces, such as locker rooms, shelters, restrooms, for comfort, privacy, dignity, and fundamental safety. Forcing women to forfeit these boundaries to accommodate biological males is not progressive. It is a regression into misogyny. This brings us to the utility of language. In this country, we possess freedom of speech, and utilizing accurate biology is a matter of truth, not harassment. Applying a male pronoun to a biological male is utilitarian. It acknowledges the profound, unchangeable differences between the two sexes. Consider just a few of these immutable biological realities. Physiology. Men possess skin that is roughly 25% thicker than a woman's, and their daily caloric and metabolic requirements are significantly higher. Hematology. Throughout the reproductive years, ages 14 to 51, women require substantially more iron than men. Neurology. Men typically possess more information-containing gray matter, while women have more white matter connecting different brain regions alongside larger memory centers. Anatomy. Even skeletal markers differ. Men typically have a ring finger that is longer than their index. Pronouns exist as a linguistic shorthand to designate which of these two distinct biological realities a person belongs to. Subverting this language has real-world consequences, particularly in public safety. For instance, when a critical violent event occurs and an active threat is on the loose, media outlets adhering to this ideology will often report that police are looking for a female suspect, even if the perpetrator is a biological male. How many people actually realize who the police are looking for in that scenario? Valuable time is wasted when descriptions are compromised. Pronouns are tools of utility, not insults. They are designed to align with facts, not feelings. With this evidence and reasoning, we need to respect the no of women. Women don't want Tims in their spaces. Respect that. You insult women when you call men she or her, or just another type of woman. A man can never know the experience of a woman, nor vice versa. Therefore, trans women are men and should be addressed and treated as such. With that, I cede the rest of my time and look forward to engaging further.
All right. Let me pause that.
Okay,
reset.
thank you. Thank you, Logan. Next, we're going to hand it over to Max to do his
Yes.
intro.
Give me 1 second. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. All right. No. Stay there. Okay. Let me start the timer. Okay, so we're doing a trans debate today, and I the scientific gender affirming care. So anti-trans people usually think that gender equals sex, and I don't agree with that characterization. Sex is assigned at birth, but gender is a cultural norm. Those same people would define a woman as an adult female, and my contention with that is that the adult part of the definition is arbitrary. Some examples here. In the US, adulthood, you're almost an adult at 18, but you're fully an adult at 21. So arbitrary. In the Maori tribes, you become an adult when you get your pea tattoo. If you don't get your pea tattoo, you're not considered an adult and you're basically shamed out of the tribe. The Hasdabi tribe, you become an adult when you complete your first hunt for big game. And in science, the developmental conclusion, people's minds finish developing at roughly 25. So there is no objective measure of what we consider an adult. It changes in culture and time. So talking about arbitrary definitions, that's a big problem right there. I have some excerpts here from a study that is titled Early Female Transgender Identity After Prenatal Exposure to diethylstilbestrol, a report from French National that were the ES cohort. And basically, this heavily supports the idea that intrauterine endocrinological factors affect when people become trans. There is still a lot more research to be done in the topic, but the case remains that in utero, hormone levels will affect a person's outcome later in life. And the paper suggests that the self-referential idea of gender sets in toddlers as young as 2 and 3 years old. So this needs to be studied more. And I personally don't think that this is a one-factor thing. I think that this heavily contributes to that, but this is a multiple factor thing that happens when people are trans. For the historical argument, I'm going to pose two stories. The first one is from Hercules. Hercules got sold into slavery to Queen Omphale for 1 year to atone for a murder he had committed. The queen, as part of his punishment, used to make him do womanly activities like spinning thread with a spindle and managing baskets of wool. And they would also wear each other's clothes. One night they fell asleep in a Lydian cave, and the god Pan came to the cave with the intention of seducing the queen. In the abject darkness, Pan felt around and felt the skin of the Nemean lion, which were the clothes that Hercules wore, and then felt the dress and tried to seduce her. Obviously, Hercules woke up and gave a beating to the god, and so on. So what started as a punishment of Hercules wearing, like the manliest man ever, Hercules being made to wear women's clothes, then became part of the regular sexual play. Yes, and this is one of the earliest examples that I could ever find about transgender in history, although it's a mythology, but it's the history, the story is what I'm referring to. Next, we have Les Mignons, and the Minions were a group of a dozen or so reportedly frivolous and fashionable young men, mostly from the lower ranks of French nobility, who were given gifts and high noble ranks by the King Henry III. Reports and rumors of the attributed heterodox sexuality of this group. And this is a triple portrait of 3 of those minions, and you can see they wore for the time very flamboyant clothing. They had hairdos that resembled those of women. They wore earrings, and this is another very clear case of transgender in history. And why is this important? It's important because this is not a modern issue. This has been a thing for the longest of times. Now, gender affirming care. In today's world, there's a lot of gender affirming care that goes on. Some of the latest examples are stuff like looks maxing, balls maxing, and I'll let you know what that is in just a little bit, and cosmetic surgeries. No one bats an eye on this. No one. And in the looks maxing scene, there's soft maxing and hard maxing. Soft maxing is basically routine care, skin care, grooming facial hair, fixing posture, and so on. And hard maxing refers to permanent, invasive, or extreme physical alterations. This can involve anabolic steroids, plastic surgery, extreme diet, as well as highly hazardous and verified methods like bone maxing. No one bats an eye. No one says anything about this. Apparently, it's only a problem when trans people receive gender-affirming care. Some of the associated risks with the hard maxing practices is that they will basically go to extremes like starve maxing in order to basically satisfy or improve their own dysmorphic disorder and severe anxiety. Again, all of this, straight, cis, gender males are doing this right now. And there is a practice, for example, using vibrating stuff that they will use it on their jaw so that they can get a better jawline. And again, the importance of this is that no one bats an eye about any of this. Both maxing is referred to the practice of injecting saline solutions into men's testicles because they feel like their testicles are small. Again, no one bats an eye except for the people that acknowledge the medical complications of that, of those practices. Now, what are my conclusions? Trans people have always existed. Gender affirming care for trans people saves lives. Trans rights are human rights. And we'll get into the specifics of the conversation next. Thank you so much. And of course, we have after show right after this. So the redirect is set up. You'll be taking there right after we are done. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you both. Those are great openings. And now are we going into kind of the question answer between both of you? Or are you doing rebuttals?
Open discussion, 40 minutes.
Okay, open discussion. So you're going to talk with each other. Okay.
Cool. I forgot my water. I didn't want to miss.
Go ahead, get your water. And
I don't have mobile headphones because I'm poor.
That's fine. Isa, please keep an eye out on the chat and save up some questions. People in the chat, feel free to tag Yerba Mate Talks if you have questions, or you can always send a super chat.
We can look at some of the chats right now, right, while we're waiting. Okay, there said something about my mic. I don't know. I'll put the volume down a little bit if that's...
No, I think it was his mic.
Oh, it's his mic? Okay. Let's see what we have here. We got a lot of comments so far.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to kind of go through, see if there's anything interesting here. Yeah, that's a lot of people are interested in that. We have a lot of conversations going on here. A lot of. Is Basil here today?
Not yet.
I don't.
Oh, Sumicide. Hold on 1 second. Sumicide. I noticed only brought up trans women. He never said anything about trans men. Oh yeah.
Well, I think that's primarily usually the interest in this.
Yep.
In these
Okay.
particular
There
conversations.
we
Here we go.
I figured it
All
out.
right. All right. So where would you like to start?
Well, what would be most important? I can say a couple things quickly.
Sure.
Our culture, we're not Maori or Hadzabe. I really don't care what they do. This is our culture, not theirs. You claim that the adult part of adult human female is arbitrary.
Yeah.
No, it's not. In
Oh.
most animals, it is the age of being able to procreate.
Yeah,
So
we don't do that. So it's arbitrary.
Yeah. There are cultural rules, but there are biological facts. So we're referring to the fact. So yes, we may say culturally that a girl who reaches the age of 14 and she's fully able to have children, we may still call her a girl, but biologically she is an adult. For procreation, she is an adult.
Yeah, and we don't go by the biological. We don't, because the age of consent is usually higher than that. So it means nothing. So it's arbitrary.
So is adult just a you don't have a qualification when somebody is an adult that's objective?
I go by the cultural. I just acknowledge that it's arbitrary. Because especially in the US, like in my country, you become an adult at 18. In the US, you don't become an adult at 18 because you can go to war, you can vote, but you can't drink. So it's arbitrary.
So adults should be allowed to drink. I mean, I actually don't disagree, but
I guess.
I mean, I don't see whether you can drink or not as a qualification for being an adult.
It is a determination on whether you are drinking or not, or you're allowed to drink or not. So the point still stands that it's arbitrary. And I think that's fine. We're just acknowledging there is no objective metric to this. And that's my point.
I mean, this definition is throughout biology for all mammals. And
it's not, though.
It is throughout all biology. Yes.
No, because you're just contradicting yourself. You said that biologically people become an adult when they get to the reproductive age.
Yes.
And we don't go by that. So it's not that.
Well, we don't go by allowing them certain things in our culture. But in other cultures, I mean, you brought up other cultures. In other cultures, yes, a girl does become an adult once she's menstruated. So if you want to use other cultures, then there it is.
That just reinforces my point that what is considered adulthood changes culturally from place and time.
And even if you want to quibble on the adult part, that doesn't deny the other two parts, which men also do not. Well, they have human, but they do not have female.
Right. But that's why does the definition of woman include female? It's because they're not the same thing. And that's my point. That gender and sex are different things.
Paused as well.
I'm sorry?
You were roboting and you also paused on screen for me.
But that's probably on your end.
I just didn't hear what you said. That's important.
Oh, sorry. I'll repeat that. It just reinforces the point that adulthood changes in time, and we have the definition of woman includes female because it's tailored towards the normalcy, like it's tailored towards the average, the biggest average.
Okay, so that's just cultural. I'm talking about biology. Yeah. I'm talking about biology. You're mixing categories.
Yeah, but gender is not biology. Gender is a social thing. Gender is a construct.
Did I mention gender in my opening?
No, I brought up gender.
Okay.
But there is an important thing. I felt that it's important to distinguish that you think of gender and sex as the same thing, and I make a distinction between gender and sex.
I dismiss gender. I'm a gender abolitionist. Because one thing, I don't even know what gender is. What is gender?
The cultural expression of biological expectations.
Really? So you think anyone expects a Tim to give birth?
No, they physically cannot.
So that's an expectation of biological concerns.
It's one of the expectations.
Oh, what are the other expectations?
Well, the expression of femininity, caring, and so on. There's wearing dresses. There are many things which come to there that are just the clothes you wear, the activities you carry out, the toys you play with as a kid, and so on.
Okay, so that's stereotypes, right?
If you want to refer to as that, yeah, sure.
Well, I mean, how are they not stereotypes?
I said that if you want to refer to as that, sure. I didn't say they weren't.
Okay, so you want to base sex-based boundaries around stereotypes?
No.
So you're telling me that all trans women wear dresses?
No.
Okay, so we can dismiss clothing then, right?
No.
No. So
because for example, do you know what a tomboy is?
Yeah, sure. I grew up with tomboys.
Okay.
I'm old,
so
I know that.
There are people that fall outside of the norm, and yet they still remain a woman, but they carry out some activities which are most commonly associated with men.
So you're accepting that all the gender stuff is based on actual sex embodied persons?
I don't know what that means.
Okay. You're saying that a tomboy is recognized by the fact that she wears boys' clothes. And the only reason we know they are boys' clothes is because boys wear them.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
But it's not just the clothes. Like, for example, we covered on the previous channel not too long ago, a woman that she would dive into lakes and fish for catfish with her own hands, like so it's about clothes, activities, and so on. It's just gender expectations, which are based on the norm, on the averages, on the vast majority of people. Let me remind you that trans people are, I don't know, roughly 1% of the world population.
But they're arbitrary, right?
Yes, it's all arbitrary.
It's all arbitrary. So you have no objective measure for any of this stuff.
No, there is not, because gender is not an objective thing. Gender is an arbitrary thing.
I think you're granting me the debate right there. You have no objective basis for any of this stuff. Where I have presented,
you don't have either.
Sure, I do. I've already stated it. You just deny it.
No, you contradicted yourself in saying that adulthood is when you become reproductively capable, but yes, we don't go for that. So your argument is just a gigantic contradiction. Good job.
No, it doesn't matter what we go for, because we could change that, right?
Yes.
We could change it to whenever a girl first menstruates, and a boy is able to produce small gametes. We could do that, right?
We could. It would be a gigantic step backwards.
Why?
But we could.
Why?
Yeah, because considering someone who is, I don't know, I started masturbating at 11. Was I an adult at 11? No.
I don't know what you do. If you could produce small gametes, yeah. That's not dependent on when you first. If you could produce small gametes.
Yeah,
not based on
I produce small gametes. You know,
yes,
what is the product of masturbation? It's ejaculation.
Biologically, you were an adult at that age, yes.
Okay, and then why couldn't I vote at 11? Because we don't go by biology.
You
biology, right?
are confusing categories. There are legal categories.
No, I'm not.
Yes, and biological categories. They are two different things.
You are the one confusing that. You're doing a bait and switch there.
No, I'm not at all. I never have. I've
So
never said.
you consider. Let's do a hypothetical. Me at 11 already producing sperm, and say one of my classmates at 13 who was who already menstruated. You consider those people as adults?
Biologically, yes.
And what are the implications of that?
Nothing. That they just need to learn how to progress and what the ramifications of their bodies are. The boys need to recognize if they have sex unprotected, they could get her pregnant, and she needs to recognize that it's far worse for her, that if she carries a baby, she will have to make a decision about that could affect the rest of her life.
Okay. Yeah, sure. The basic implications. Now, why don't we go off of that as a society in general?
Because we decided it was more important for kids to go to school and to learn things.
Yeah. So
But
arbitrary.
that does not make them. That does not violate whether or not they are biologically an adult, because this is consistent across all mammals, and you want special rules for humans. When I'm just talking about mammalian,
Yeah, that's called a
characteristics.
naturalistic fallacy.
How is it a fallacy?
You're just appealing to other animals. Like, we are a part of nature, sure, but we have the abstraction necessary to not go by nature.
Sure, but you brought in other cultures and mythology, and you're saying I can't bring in the biological fact of mammals?
Oh boy, it went right over. Why did I do that? Why did I showed that trans people have been a thing since the time of antiquity?
Oh, Hercules identified as trans?
No, he did trans sex play.
He pretended.
Yeah, they didn't have.
Oh, he pretended. So
they
Tims
didn't have
are
surgeries.
Tims are pretending.
In antiquity, they didn't have hormonal treatments. They didn't have surgeries. In antiquity, being trans just implied cross-dressing.
It did.
But now we have the capability of providing more care.
Because I think you're being
Which
anachronistic.
is very important.
You're being anachronistic. You're trying to apply a modern term, the way we use this term, to ancient sources, and that wasn't the case.
It's there. Like, look at the history of the Minions. They were trans men. They were actually trans women.
Okay, right. It literally says in the graphic you showed that they are men.
They are male.
No, it says men.
Where?
I don't think the graphic you showed. I don't think anywhere it says they are women. They identify as women. They're considered women.
It said that they had heterodox sexual practices. They wore dresses and they wore earrings and hairdos ornamented like females and very colorful garments. That is the closest you have to being trans in the 1500s.
So it's not about identity.
Yes, they identified as that, and they had a word. Instead of saying trans, they were the Minions.
Okay. Did not see in that graphic they identified as women. Can you show it again?
Of course. Look at that. Did you think that men wore this type of ornamental hairdos?
Okay.
In the 1500s?
So heterodox means they were straight, right?
No.
No?
No.
Really? Okay, well, so let me read this. The Mignons were a group of dozen or so reportedly, so it's just a dozen or so, reportedly frivolous and fashionable young men, mostly from lower ranks of the French nobility, who were given the heterodox sexuality of this group. That's an awkward sentence. But no, nowhere in that does it say they identified as women.
They had heterodox sexual practices.
Does that make them women?
Yes. Look at the clothes that they're wearing. They wore very colorful clothes. They wore ornamented hairdos and earrings.
So they were just gay.
Yes, but they played the role of females. They were very flamboyant.
So women, females have to be flamboyant?
Sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you're trying to find a very rigorous definition, and the paradox is that human sexuality cannot be conceived of that way. Human sexuality is not a black and white thing. It's a gamut. It's a paradox to think of sexual activity as normal.
I'm not talking about sexuality.
Yes, like gender is one of the expressions of gender is through sexuality.
So, can you explain that?
What, like, how you express yourself, what clothes you wear, mannerisms, what sexual activity you carry out. That all has to do with like gender.
No, how you have sex with is sexual orientation. Because
that is a nonsensical question.
I didn't ask a question. Who you have sex with depends on your sexual orientation.
Yes.
So you can have a gay Tim and you can have a straight Tim. So it has nothing to do with their transness.
I suspect you have that backwards. Because when your brain develops the character, like when the trans brain develops, say I'm biologically male, I'm trans, and I'm attracted to men. What is that? Is that gay or is that straight?
If you're a biological male and you're attracted to men, you're straight. I mean, you're gay. You're gay.
No, you're straight because the brain.
No, you're gay. Is sexual orientation.
I told you that you had it backwards.
Okay, so a man who identifies as a woman who has sex with men is gay.
No, straight. Because their brain is female.
Okay, do you know there are quite a few? I've been joined a group recently. Quite a few of gay, trans, bi, and straight people that say, no, you're entirely wrong. Because Max, are you endorsing that if a Tim goes to a lesbian bar, he should fully expect those lesbians to have sex with him?
Lesbians, no. You could, yeah, because it's non-binary. Like there's a lot of nuance in this topic. You're trying to make it a black and white, and this is not the case. This is a largely gray thing.
Well, it doesn't seem ambiguous to actual gay and lesbian people.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm straight. I'm straight. And if I picked up a person at the bar and took them home and fully believed they were a woman and they dropped their pants, I'd be like, oh, no. And that has actually happened a lot. There's a lot of debate when trans people need to disclose the fact that they're trans because of that. And it's not being a transphobe. It's who you're sexually attracted to. And that is science.
That is correct. But most people in the right mind would say that kind of disclosure is always important.
Okay.
So
if sexuality is based on sex, then how?
No, sexuality, I believe, is based on gender.
No, it's based on sex. Because gender is not a scientific concept, right? It's a social construct.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not attracted.
This is not a scientific debate. This is a sociological debate.
Oh, I started with a mostly scientific opening. So
And contradicted yourself, yes.
no, I never contradicted myself.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Let's explore my notes.
Sure, because I have the whole transcript right
you,
here.
You invoked utilitarianism.
Yes.
Utilitarianism would tell us that gender-affirming care for trans people is the best of situations.
I didn't argue against gender affirming care.
Yeah, no, I am making the argument.
So I did not contradict myself.
No, but you invoked. Now, hold on. We're going to get there. The huge contradiction came where you you talked about language policing, and you basically want the policing to be inverse. You want people to refer to trans females as males.
Well, what you do,
that's a huge contradiction.
What you do with your friends and on your platform or whatever, I'm not going to tell you what to say. Oh, by the way, I wanted to point out, I invited people to the stream, and I do not appreciate that the moderator is saying he's going to kick anybody who might be supporting me. Not in those words, but if someone came because of me, they will probably not use the language he wants. And I think for the purpose of this debate, we should not be prohibiting anybody, because if you were on my stream, I would not kick a bunch of people that came in and go, trans women are women. It's wrong.
What are you talking about?
What I think he's talking about is like one of the moderators of the chat. You're not talking about me. You're talking about the moderator.
Don't mind the chat.
Yeah.
Well, I just don't want them kicking people that came here to support me.
Don't mind the chat.
Okay. Okay, so I did not contradict myself, because to contradict myself, I have to say two opposite things myself. And I said one thing and you said another, so I did not contradict myself.
No, you did. When you said that you don't want language policing, but you also want language policing, that's a contradiction.
Okay, do you not agree that when that person, I think it was up northeast in America, you're in America, right?
No.
Oh, you're not? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so in America, there was a unaliving at a hockey game, and the news reports were going, police are looking for a woman.
Yeah.
So me being a citizen, I would go out and I would be looking they were looking for a woman. I'd be looking for a woman. It was a man, however, and it was obviously a man. There was no passing for this person. But yet,
the cutoff is not passing; it's how you present yourself. It was a trans woman.
So look at me right now. I hope I look like a man, but I may not. So if I committed a crime, and I went and hid a awful crime, and how do you think the family would feel because someone said, "Well, he identifies as a woman"? So if the news reports got on our and say, police are looking for a woman.
Yeah, when you commit a crime and they're looking for the person, they will look for the person as they present themselves. So if you committed that crime, that murder, they would be looking for a man.
Oh, really? How a woman couldn't look like me?
Yeah, there are some women that look like, but generally, they have boobs.
Yeah. I got moves.
So, but now let's say you get all produced, you drag up, you wear your wig, you put on fake boobs, you're wearing a dress, high heels, and you commit the same crime. They're going to be looking for a woman.
And then I take off all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm hidden.
Yeah, but the person that committed the crime, let's say there was one witness, they saw someone with long hair, a dress, high heels commit the crime. So the description would be a woman. Then this doesn't make your argument.
I don't know that anybody there that witnessed it would say that was a woman. I think what the
if you wore
said,
a dress, wig,
think,
high heels, you're saying that no, they would say it's a man.
Oh, I don't know what it was.
It's a witness. Let's say it's you. You committed a crime
while
in full drag outfit, and someone sees it, but they don't see you like up close. They see it from afar. What would they say? They would say that that's a woman, and
I wouldn't.
This is a silly thing.
I wouldn't. If I knew that was a man, I wouldn't.
How would you know? You saw it from afar, and all you saw was wig, dress, heels.
What if I was close by?
Yeah, if you were close by, then you would say, "Oh, it was a man dressed as a woman." But this is a silly talking point.
Okay. Well, you brought it up.
No, you brought it. I brought it up because you mentioned it in
So,
your
well, if
in
that
your opening.
if that were my relatives that were unalived, I would be very upset because the police wasted time looking for a woman if that's what was reported. When obviously that person was
Well, if
not a
that's
woman.
how it was presented, then there's no what's the fault in that?
I don't care what's presented. That's what the fault is. What was presented was a lie. It was a falsehood.
It was a person that looked like a woman, so they were looking for a
How
woman.
how do you know that person looked like a woman? Because I've seen a picture of them. They don't look like a woman.
I don't know the specifics of the case that you brought up. What I'm going by is the hypothetical that
Okay.
I posed.
Okay, well, the hypothetical is they do not look like a woman.
They do not look like a woman.
They look like they're.
In what sense?
You can blatantly tell they're a man.
How?
By the beard, by the jaw structure, by their height, by their proportions.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. They look more like a man than a woman. They look like a man trying to look like a woman. That's what they look like.
Okay.
So
So
they wasted valuable time trying to find that person because the liberal news media will sit there and go, "Oh, it's a woman." What they should have said, by the way, I'm not conservative. What they should have said was a trans-identified male. That's what they should have said.
how would they know?
Because then they would be looking.
A witness report from up close.
They would be looking for a man.
How did the report this? I don't really want to. This is such a. You're trying to make a general argument out of one case, so this is silly on so many levels.
You chose to address that, and you can assert that, but that's fine. Let's see, what else did you bring up?
I would like to know, like, your biggest contention is the whole bathroom thing, right?
Spaces in sports, yeah.
Oh, so you care a lot. You support women's sports, right? You watch women's sports. You give money to women's sports, or
No,
that kind
but
of. Oh,
whoa,
okay,
no.
so
Now,
it's
moderator.
irrelevant.
Whoa, moderator.
Ryan!
I can send you
Yes.
a picture if there's a way, but he stated he does not care about the sports situation, so he doesn't want to talk about it. So don't talk about it.
No, I wanted to know what your contention is, but you apparently seem to care about women's sports, but you don't watch women's sports. You don't support women's sports financially. So, do you care about women's sports?
I care that women have that opportunity. Yes.
But you just said you don't watch women's sports.
Okay, for someone that doesn't want to talk about sports, you're talking about it an awful lot.
Yeah, I'm trying to point out how your objection is silly.
Okay, hold on, buddy. You're making some assumptions. Okay, I don't watch any sports, really. I used to actively watch UFC, but even now I just kind of fast forward through most of the fights unless I like the fighter. So I really don't watch any sports, but I support people's right to play in sports. I support people's right to make money off sports. So I don't know where you're getting this. And, are there not things you support people's right to do, even though you don't participate in them yourself?
Yeah, I generally don't go around debating people on things I don't care about. No.
Well, that wasn't my question.
I can't think of anything like that I support, but I don't.
Do you hunt?
No.
Okay. I don't know. I think I know what country you're in if you've made it public.
I'm in Uruguay. It's a well-known fact.
Okay, Uruguay. Okay. I don't watch a lot of streams. So I don't know about Uruguay, but in America, or the USA, I should say, we have the right to hunt. Do you support that right to hunt?
I couldn't care less.
But you don't not support it.
No, well, actually, I am, in some levels, I'm actually against hunting.
Okay. Well, I bet dollars to donuts there's something, if we took long enough and wasted enough time, that you would support people's right to do, even though you don't participate in it in any way yourself. Would you deny that?
The thing is that I can't think of anything right now, honestly.
Okay.
And the thing is that even if you could find that, I would not be debating people about something that I don't care about.
Okay, well, me neither. Let me put it this way.
And the
Do you
reason why I
think
don't
do you think you have to support or participate in something to support people's right to do that?
generally, I would say yes. Why would you care about, like, in general? Like, why would you make an argument that you care about women's sports when you don't watch it, you don't support it, and you couldn't care less what happens? Like, your only thing is that, oh yeah, I want women. I want women to do the thing. Like,
Well, that all stems from supporting a woman's no. That's at the top. And all those things are down here.
right? Okay. Now, I don't have the solution for the sports thing. That's why I said that I didn't really want to go deep into it. What I'm trying to show you is that you are talking about something that you don't really care for, honestly.
I care about their right to be able to compete against other women and other females.
Okay, what would be the solution then?
I didn't know this debate was about a solution. Well, you keep males out of female sports.
Okay.
So that's the solution. It's very easy, and there's no reason why we can't do that.
Well, I honestly don't have the solution for the sport thing. One potential solution, and I think that would be the most parsimonious, would be to have a trans league, to have trans sports. But then people would there's barely money for female sports. Can you even imagine what that would be? So I don't know what the solution is to that. Now,
as you said, you did not want to debate this, so I'd like to move on.
Now, the whole bathroom issue.
Okay.
I think that the solution to that is let's just have collective bathrooms. Bathrooms in houses are not segregated.
That's somebody's house. Who cares?
Yeah.
And you can go in there and you can lock the door and be in there alone. So who cares?
Yeah. And you can go to a bathroom and lock the stall.
But, I know people that grew up in communal spaces, and I don't know the rules, but if it was the rules of the house that a guy and a girl could enter that bathroom, well, you've already agreed to those rules before you went into that house. But a woman going out in public did not agree to those rules that some people enforce on them. And she says no. And you agreed we need to respect a woman's no. So
some women say no, some women don't care.
That's very true. And well, okay, yeah. They care the opposite way.
Well, no. So I mean, some people don't care at all.
Well,
I wouldn't mind one bit if I went to the toilet, to the bathroom, and there was a trans man in the bathroom, in the toilet, in the stall next to me.
Oh, me neither. But I do know.
So the problem is not trans people using the bathrooms in general. The problem is the potentiality for sexual assault.
Can I go into the women's room?
No.
Why not?
Because we culturally say no. But if we had one place where everyone goes, problem solved.
No. Because there was a study in England where they had unisex changing rooms. And, of course, some men, being certain men, went in there and were recording women. So if you had, you don't care if men record women against their consent?
No, I do. I want to. The song was like, what's your argument here?
Okay, so if we have unisex bathrooms, that's what you're endorsing, right? Can't men go in there and record under the stalls?
Just make it a full stall to the floor.
Oh.
In that case, the objection would be with that pervert. It wouldn't be any other, there are people that do bad things.
Yes. But they wouldn't be doing that, because I assume they're straight. They wouldn't be doing that in a place of just men.
Yeah, so.
Okay, so the debate here isn't how do we solve this. The debate is what's going on.
I think it is.
No, the debate is what's going, because you and I are going to solve this. We could agree on, okay, let's build unisex bathrooms, and it's not going to happen anytime soon. So the debate is, what do we do now? So a Tim who identifies as a woman but does not pass goes to the bathroom, and a woman says, "Excuse me, you're a man, please stay out." What do you think should happen?
I think that person should just go pee and get out.
Which
And
person?
she can bitch the person that is complaining. They can bitch it both. And
So you agreed in an email that you support a woman's no, but now you are not.
Yeah. I support the majority. If you want to call it, I support the tyranny of the majority.
So if the majority of women wanted Tims out of their spaces, you would support that?
Yes.
How do you know they don't?
Because I go that by democracy, you know?
Well, how do you know they don't?
I think it's the worst. It's the best that we have.
Are you aware of any polls that exclusively poll women on this regard?
No.
Okay, so why are you making the assumption the majority is in your favor and not mine?
Well, in my personal experience, the majority is on my side.
In my personal experience, it's not.
Yeah, I know.
I worked at a large company, UPS, and I worked at one of their largest hubs, and very few, if any, of the women wanted this 6-foot-tall Tim in their bathrooms. When he walked in the bathroom, when he first got his doctor's note that the company said there's nothing we can do, and the union said there's nothing we can do, all the women were complaining. Didn't matter. So no, until you can't say the majority is on your side until it's demonstrated. If it's not been demonstrated, then we need to take the reality we know of, which is, and I'm in the US, you're in Uruguay. There are lots of areas where
here no one cares. Here trans people can go to the toilet. It has never been a thing.
Well, I'm debating the US. I don't know about Uruguay.
I'm sorry. You're not the only country in the world.
That's true, but I can only know what goes on here. And if you're Uruguayans, if they want to allow that, if the majority of women,
we want and we do, and no one cares.
Okay, well, here we do. There are plenty of red states. I'm not conservative. I'm just saying they are. And I know in those red states, most of the women say no. We're running out of time.
I don't think you can support that claim that most women say no.
You can't support the claim that most women say yes.
I never made the claim that most women
and also
say yes.
Women cannot consent for another. So as long as there is one woman that doesn't want that Tim in their restroom, I say they stay out.
That is a very myopic view. That's not how the world works, though.
Oh, okay. Well, you're telling women no, and I'm telling them they can make their own decisions. So I think the audience can recognize who is being misogynistic.
Definitely not me.
Okay.
You are making a general argument based on the fact that there will always be bigoted people. Now, would you carry out the same thing if, say, one person says, I don't want black people in my bathroom? Then you would not follow the same logic of the argument. So you just debunked yourself.
Category error.
Not a category error.
Yeah, it is. Race.
No, because discriminatory people exist all over the place. And if a woman wants to discriminate against, or let's not use if a woman doesn't like, for whatever reason, trans people in her bathroom, then why wouldn't you carry out the same to a black person?
Because they're two separate things.
Yeah, what I'm trying to show is that the logic of your argument falls apart at the most basic scrutiny.
Did I choose this?
No.
Did a black person choose their color?
No. Did a trans person choose to be trans?
Did they choose to dress and invade women's spaces? Yes.
Did they choose to be trans?
I don't care what their identity is.
So I don't care what your skin color is. I just don't like black people.
That's up to you.
Okay. So the argument holds, and
it doesn't.
So if one person doesn't, my argument holds that if one person doesn't want black people in the bathroom, by your logic, they shouldn't be allowed.
Identity is subjective.
bathrooms.
Identity is subjective.
I gave the evidence
is
that
objective.
Trans
you have
identity
zero
is,
evidence. You're
I
making a
gave
category error. This is not. This is
I
objective.
know that you're trying to
You're
deflect
talking
to the
about subjective.
fallacies. It's not going to work. I gave you the evidence.
You pointed out a fallacy you accused me of that was false.
I was in the middle of a sentence. I pointed out that it's an endocrinological development, that it's not something that you choose. It's something that you are.
Okay, we have 10 seconds left.
Oh, no. Well, just to tell you, I get spicy sometimes, but I'm not mad.
Cool.
No, that's
all right,
fine.
Time's up. So we did a poll for the first thing for the opening argument. We're going to put a poll for this too. Let's see what we have here. We only had 11 votes. I kept asking in the chat, but we're going to stop the poll now. Okay.
Let me do the YouTube one, because that people that are not used to, you have to vote with typing it in the chat.
Oh yeah, I constantly kept saying it. So, I kept saying put your vote in the chat like about 10 times. So I said put a 1 or 2.
Yeah, but I don't use it, and most people are not used to that one. So don't worry, I'll do. What do you want to the next poll?
Our next one is who do you feel had the stronger arguments in a question and answer? Or you just put question and answer, performance. That's a simple way of doing it.
I would have preferred if I would have had pro-woman instead of anti-trans.
You would have preferred what?
I don't like what people refer to as anti-white. Anti-black. I just prefer the term pro-white.
Yeah,
same thing. Same thing.
So what would you prefer your situation?
Pro-woman.
Pro-woman. Okay.
I support women.
Okay.
In this matter.
No, you don't.
I don't support men that think they're women. No. Again, all my terms never cross over, Max. I demonstrated during that Q&A that you mix categories all the time. You say something, and then I say, well, does a woman have to do that? No. Okay, well, then that's not a criteria.
Yeah, because you think that this is a black and white issue, and it's not. And I showed that, and I showed your contradictions, and yeah. All right. Isa, do you have questions? We have super chats and questions? If you want to get those questions, tag Yerba Mate Talks.
Yeah, give this man some money. He showed some balls doing this. I respect him. All those cowards on the line, they won't debate me.
Why would they debate you?
You
know that they have call-in shows where you can call in, right?
Well, yeah, but they control the mute button.
All right, I'm gonna put the chats that we have starred, and then we'll go through the super chats too.
You got it.
Okay, so First Amender says there's no trans ideology. There's only the anti-trans ideology and the trans discovery.
Brenda noted.
Brenda Creates puts, Tim is a slur. Please ask this F-wit to stop.
So I know who Brenda is. That's Tim, right? Brenda is a Tim.
Brenda is trans, yes. Brenda
so
is
at what point in trans identified male does Brenda reject?
The term is considered a slur. That's her point.
I think calling men trans women is a slur. So there we are.
The vast majority of people don't.
No. Well, maybe in Uruguay, but most of these people are probably in the U.S. Pretty sure Brenda is.
Brenda is in the U.S. Yes.
There we go. Okay, so I'm addressing Brenda. So we're not talking about Uruguay. We're talking about here. And no, the vast majority do not.
I would need some supporting evidence.
No, I do not. But thank you for the $2. Thank you for the $2 to Max.
Okay, here's the next one.
Never have.
I don't know what this means, but I'm going to read it. Brenda Creates says, ask him if he has a protection order against him.
Oh, sorry, I just answered that when I saw it. No, I do not and never have.
Okay. And Dirt 87, does he have anything he thinks he is persecuted on?
Yeah, being a white man. No. This is, and this came from a woman. Okay. This came from a woman. I got in an incident at work. And I contacted a lawyer, and it was a female lawyer. And I explained it all to her, and she, gay? No. Are you trans?
Wait,
No.
hold on, stop. You broke up there heavily.
Okay, sorry.
Start again.
I got in trouble at work. I don't even remember what it was, but it was something that I thought was unfair. So I contacted a lawyer, and the situation at work was not race related or anything like that. It was just something I had observed other people getting off on, and they harassed me about it. I got fired for a bit, got my job back. So I contacted a lawyer, and they said, this female lawyer asked me, they said, "Are you a man? I mean, are you a," well, I guess I probably assumed I was a man, I guess, but they said, she asked, "Are you gay?" I said, "No." "Are you black?" I said, "No." "Are you any other race?" I said, "No, I'm Caucasian." And she said, "Well, that's going to make it harder." And it's very true. There was a woman at work that was complaining about another woman. And I said something. I said, "Well, why don't you do something about it?" And she says, "Well, I have the female card." So she admits that females have the cards, but that person was also black and also a lesbian. So she says she has those two other cards. So even someone else in management admitted that because we're white, we get treated differently.
Yeah, super oppressed being white. Like, it's the hardest thing ever.
Okay.
Especially the US, sure.
Now, am I persecuted now? I would say no, I'm not persecuted now, and I wouldn't say I was persecuted throughout my life, but there were situations where, yes, I was persecuted because of white. I got bussed. I don't know if you know that term. It's when they tried to integrate white kids with black kids mostly, and I got shipped. I was in the suburbs. They shipped me in town, and yes, anytime a situation occurred, I was guilty. The black boy was innocent. Anytime. So yeah, I've experienced it. I can get away from it, thankfully. But yes, so that's the answer to that question.
Please tell me more about how difficult it is for you to have been white.
Okay, I don't know.
I love it.
All right, we have another comment. We have a follow-up for the question. Follow-up. Do you think people should just ignore your opinion that this is happening to you?
Well, no, but I couldn't prove it. So,
well, yeah, probably because you've never been actually persecuted for an immutable characteristic. Colored people, Hispanics, and non-white people experience that all the time, and so do trans and gay people, and everyone in the LGBTQ community for the most part in the US.
I will share another anecdote. I dated a girl, I think she was from Panama, and I told her I would come visit her, and she said no. And I said, "Why?" And she said, "If you go down there, you will get a sharp object in your gut." And I said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, like if you ride a bus or something." Now this was the 80s, maybe things were different, but so I could go to a different country and be mistreated. There are, like you said, U.S. isn't the only world.
That is literally not a thing.
I was according to her, so should I take your word or her word?
I mean, I live in Latin America. I think I know a little thing or two about stuff down here.
And again, how old are you? Ish.
38.
38. So yeah, you were not even born in the 80s, were you?
I was born in 88.
Yeah, we're late 80s. Both of us are late 80s.
So
we're late 80s kids.
This was late 80s. So you were a baby. So maybe you didn't know what the situation was in Panama. Hope I'm if it's improved now, I'm happy to hear that. But at the time, she said, "Do not come. I don't want you to get hurt." So anyway,
do you know what would be funny, Max? Is that we would have been in high school together. Like if I was with you, we would have been in the same class. That's wild.
That's awesome.
Man, when I was 30, I've been kicking you little toddlers around.
No, you wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't.
You're funny. So
What's
what do we want to move next? Do you want to do closing arguments, or what's the next
Yeah,
thing?
if you want to do, if you want
I think
to
that would be
close.
awesome.
Yeah, we'll do 5 minutes. It's fine. Let me put that back. Timer. Now, before we do the closings, give me. I need to be like. I'll be right back. So just chat and I'll.
Okay. Was that all the comments? Of course, I guess we shouldn't address comments while he's not here. I'm a freaking old fart. I'm a pretentious
You're
old
funny.
fart. Dated, almost visited. No, she came to my school in the U.S., my college. And
All right. So I'm gonna put some stuff up on the here. That's cool. So you can comment on anything. I'm just gonna make sure that we have everybody seen.
Sure.
Wow, there's a lot of people. They have a lot of feelings. The chat has a lot of feelings. We'll start from here because I don't know how long Max will be. Okay. We'll just keep going through. So your community didn't come here today, is that true, Logan?
Well, I don't have a large community. I just posted it on my Facebook page and shared it in
Oh,
a
I
couple of
see.
groups. I had 2 votes though.
You did.
And and if they do not agree with me but think I did a better job, I really respect that.
Yeah, I mean, this is a debate. I think this is an interesting conversation personally. I don't know if you've watched modern day debates, but
I don't like them anymore. I liked
They
them when
have
they
this-
first started, but they just go off the rails. And I'm not going to listen to a 5-hour conversation.
that's
40
really not entertaining.
like we did, 40 minutes, keep it crisp.
I'm with
If you want to have an after show that goes on forever, that's fine. But the actual debate, should be.
yeah, I'm with you. I think we need more like deeper, like and better topics. Like I asked, could I do the Crusades? Because I think that would be a really interesting one, and substance usage. But yeah, I think internal Christian dialogue seems to be more interesting than these types of topics. Okay,
Right.
so
I'm back.
we are
Sorry.
back.
Right. Well, since you went first, I'll start my closing statement first. So I think that I made a compelling case that trans people have existed since the dawn of time, the same as gay people, and pretty much all the gamut of the LGBTQ community. Made the historical case, made the case that even though we didn't go specifically into it, that gender affirming care saves lives and that it's a medical necessity. I think I showed some of the internal contradictions in the fact that invoking utilitarianism would mean that supporting trans people is the best way. I highlighted how even though he went on the attack on language policing, he wants language policing, but the other way around, which is a very interesting contradiction. And I think I highlighted how there is a very clear difference between gender and sex. So after the stream is done, we're going to the after show. Everyone is welcome, open panel as usual. When we end, you will be redirected there. So thank you so much. Love you all. And I'll leave it at that. All right. Ready when you are.
All righty. Well, Max attempted to argue between arbitrary things and verifiable things, and he was never consistent in any of those qualifications. He attempted to use other countries that aren't even Uruguayan to establish this, but those are not necessarily trans-identified people. They are people that have been ascribed a certain role, perhaps because in that culture they're regarded as, if they had them in a war, they would cause trouble. So these men have actually been lowered to a different station, forced by society to be a different thing, to take care of children. So Max is attempting to utilize an actually demeaning of people to defend his case. I don't think he cited any example of a regular practice of women going the other way, that women consistently were able to identify as men and get all the rights of men. No, they weren't. This was always a one-way thing. Men who were demeaned by other men were sent down to the category of woman. But that does not mean they identified as women. It just means they were forced into that role. Max says role expectations. Well, one of the roles of women is to have children, but a Tim cannot do that. So I don't know what roles Max is talking about. And any of their other roles could change except those defined by biology. Women on a whole, there are a lot of women can whoop my butt, I'm sure, but women on a whole are not as strong as men, and men are better fighters. You could not win a war sending only women to fight a bunch of men. You could not do it. Hercules was bi, and he never identified as a woman, according to the story. He was always a man. Just because you put on a dress, which Max admits, does not make you a woman. We don't know what makes a woman Max, according to Max, because there's no objective way to do it. You just have to take somebody's word for it. Also, being a bottom or a woman was insulting in Greek culture. Women were seen as lesser. So actually, by writing that story, they're making fun of Hercules. They're not raising him up. Already covered les mignons. They are literally identified as men. Gender affirming care. I don't care if somebody wants to alter their body. There's people that do lots of weird things. I wanted to ask if we affirm starve maxing. Do we affirm that? Do we affirm people with anorexia? Do we sit there and go, yeah, you're fat. Yeah, you're fat. What rights do trans people have that people like me have? Do they not have that I have? So your historical case is the usage we have today of this word does not apply to the past. And just because you want to support trans people and give them gender affirming care, and if you want to call them she, he, whatever, call them a woman, call them a man, that's your business. But there are cases where, yes, language is important. I'm not policing anybody's language. I'm saying that sometimes language is important. And also, no one should be forced to use terms they do not wish to use. No one should be insisting, you need to call me she, you need to call me he. That's not the way the world works. These terms can refer to objective facts. When I use them, they refer to objective facts. And if people have a problem with objective facts, they need to question their integrity.
All right.
Thank you for your closings. That's awesome. And do we have any other things, or is that the end of our debate?
No, I think that is it. We could go into the after show. So before we go, make sure to do the social things, like, share, subscribe, send this to a friend, send this to your significant other, go to the corner, yes, the corner of your screen, and yell, subscribe to Yerba Mate Talks. And we'll see you in the after show in just a sec. Love you all. Take care. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
See you.